Escape to the metaverse. Better act like you know. Yeah. You are now tuned into the Matthew Rizzle show. Yeah. Escape to the metaverse. Better act like you know. Yeah. You are now tuned into the Matthew Rizzle show. Yeah. Escape to the metaverse. Better act like you know. Yeah. You are now tuned into the Matthew Rizzle show. Yeah. Escape to the metaverse. Better act like you know. You are now tuned into the Matthew Rizzle show. Yeah.
Hey everyone, it's Matthew. Before we begin this week's show, I just want to introduce this week's sponsor, Metacast Group. Metacast Group connects companies with creators in the NFT space through a network of NFT and metaverse-focused content creators and influencers. Hear or see your ad on shows just like the Matthew and Rizzle show to amplify your reach, connect with your target audience, promote your project, and convert views into action. If you're interested in this, reach out at metaversegroup.com or follow us on Twitter at Metacast Group. Thank you, and please enjoy the show. Okay, Karla, welcome to the Matthew and Rizzle show.
Hi, thank you so much for having me in this show. I'm really grateful. Thank you so much.
Really excited to talk more about what you're doing at QLIP. But before we get into QLIP and everything when it comes to NFTs and Africa and crypto artists, tell us a little bit about yourself, your background, and what you've been doing leading up to what you're doing at QLIP.
Okay, thank you so much. All right, so myself, I'm Karla. I'm also known as Karla God because I'm a music artist here in Africa. I'm a rapper also. I'm a songwriter. So I've been in the music space since 2014, right? And 2016, I dropped my first project. 2018, I dropped my second project. And I've just been, doing music since then. And I got to find out about NFTs 2020 last year. And I thought to use it as a platform to sell my music and also sell my visual arts, right? So I'm a visual artist too. I create videos with poetry, and stuff. So I tried doing that. And I found out that in the industry, there's no, like the space is such that it's like doesn't have Africa in mind. You hear top artists in the US saying, "Oh, I'm releasing this as an NFT. I'm going to release my NFT collectibles." But sadly, you don't find that with a lot of African artists, right? That's one. And another thing is independent artists, hyper-realists, visual artists, poets. It seems like the space to sell their NFTs is not there, or they meet some sort of roadblock. One of that roadblock is fees, right? Paying for fees to mint your project, to mint your art, and then also marketing. Some don't even know how to market, right? So some don't know how to get into the NFT space, right? And I understand that barrier because it's like the space is filled with a lot of guys from Europe, from America, and then there's a lot of differences, right, on the platform and in culture and all. So I thought, why not create something that Africa can take advantage of and something that the world can buy from, right? So as much as as much as QLIP provides the opportunity for a lot of African artists to mint their works, it also provides this sort of quality assurance, like that collectibles you're buying on QLIP are actually worth buying, right? So that's just a brief of why I started QLIP and what QLIP is about.
Karla, I love what you're doing, and I love the effort you're putting behind it. And I agree, that's something that Matt and I have noticed, that when we were originally getting into NFTs, the barrier to entry in terms of minting costs was very, very small. You know, it was very easy to, you know, mint NFTs for pennies and, you know, put them out into the wild. And, you know, obviously that's like clearly not the case now. So I guess I sort of have like a two-part question for you. Like, do you feel like the minting costs have been like the biggest barrier to entry for a lot of the artists and creators that you're trying to onboard? And then also, like, I want to say you're on Binance Smart Chain, but I'm curious to know how you like, sort of removed some of those barriers.
Okay, cool. Right. Yes. To answer the first question, yes. The biggest barrier has been fees, right? So let me just give you a breakdown, right? A lot of people really don't know. When you say fees and you're looking at fees at $30, $20, that's some person's 1 week salary in Africa. You know, $20, $30, $50, that's some person's 1 week salary, right? That's like 40 to 50% of an artist's income from one of their works, right? For some artists, like for bulk of the artists in Africa, right? So it's not a sustainable plan. Minting fees, like for minting fees to be that high, it's a very big barrier for African artists. That's one of the reasons why we built on Binance Smart Chain, so that fees would be low, right? And in the long run, we're also going to have QLIP on other blockchains, right? So right now we're looking at BSC, right? So when we will launch here and, you know, actually build QLIP to a certain level on BSC, you know, we're going to go on other blockchains that have low minting fees, that have really, really minuscule transaction costs, right? To help artists mint. And then the second question about, I think I answered the second question also, how we're solving that. I think I did that already.
Yeah.
We're building on BSC and we're going to build on other blockchains. Cool.
The QLIP, the platform itself, do you mind sort of just going into some details? Like how exactly, like, you know, if I'm an African artist and, you know, you've got my attention, I always wanted to do this. How does someone like get involved, or like what are the next steps, you know, for someone in those situations?
Okay, cool. So say you are an independent artist, you want to mint your art. You have to have a really good presentation. How do I put it? The presentation plan in mind. Maybe you're a music artist, you know. Minting art wouldn't be just your music. You might have to collaborate with visual artists on QLIP platform. And QLIP actually has that feature where artists can collaborate on the blockchain, right? So it solves the royalty fee issues that some other blockchain platforms have, right? So if you are good with music but not good with visual, you know, art, designing stuff, you could collaborate with somebody and you guys can make an NFT together, right, on the platform. Another thing is, as an independent artist, you should have, just as you have a plan to market your off-chain works, right? Your off-chain art. You should also have a plan to market, like artists should have a plan to also sell their NFTs, right? QLIP would help with low fees and then a cataloging style for NFT collectors, right? Also for meme creators, because there'll be a section where people who create memes can actually put their memes on QLIP and announce it. So people could actually trace the originality and ownership of a viral meme to somebody, right? So these are ways that artists could get on this. And then for mainstream artists that the world already knows, you know, mainstream artists in Africa, this is where the way it works is we go to them, we speak to them, right? We make a presentation on QLIP and let them know that, okay, we can create collectibles out of certain of your projects. A very good example I keep using is Burna Boy, right? Burna Boy just won the Grammys, I think February or January or so, but early this year. And one of his tracks was like top hits. Imagine we have NFTs of Burna Boy for that track, right? That are on the blockchain, and people could actually buy them. And one other good thing is QLIP is not just providing NFTs, people buying NFTs and all. They are actually off-chain utilities to these NFTs. Very good example is, say you buy Burna Boy's NFTs. It means that these next concerts, probably that NFT would give you access to his merchandise in his next concerts, right? Or VIP access to his next concert. Or maybe he drops an album. You're one of the first to receive it before the rest of the world does, right? So these are the kind of utilities we're bringing to the NFT collectibles on QLIP. And also, our independent artists who create real-life works, right, could actually have NFT catalogs of those arts and then have an order-in platform, an order-in system. So if somebody looks at this NFT and says, oh, I like this, the price listed there is actually the price for both the delivery and both the products, right? So when you buy the NFT, you actually have an option to get that artwork, real life, delivered to you, right? So these are the opportunities that are resident in QLIP.
I'm super curious, like you mentioned a bunch of these offline sort of benefits or experiences that the NFTs can kind of activate and enable. I'm curious, like what sort of infrastructure, like how the redemption model or redemption system will actually work, especially like as COVID starts to dissipate or countries are able to start vaccinating like large portions of the population, like the in real life concerts, meetups and everything are coming back. And I see a lot of people who've been in the NFT space start to ask questions like, well, who are you using for in real life NFT ticketing and that sort of redemption? So I'm curious, how you're hitting that over on your side.
Okay, it's dependent on the collaboration we have with the record labels, right? So there are a lot of really good artists in Africa, and like I said before, just as people have independent artists have plans to market their off-chain art, right? They should have the same for NFTs, for their NFT arts, right? Now we have that platform for record labels, so it's such that if you're a mainstream artist, your next album should also have an NFT strategy, right? And that NFT strategy includes utility. So if you're going to have an album, you're going to drop an album, you know that next you're going to have a listening party. After the listening party, you're going to have concerts, you're going to go on tours, right? The NFTs that will be released should give the holders access to these various activities, right? So this is going to be integrated with the record labels that we would have. We can't actually mint collectibles of these artists without having things like this in place. So it's all part of the policies in QLIP for minting collectibles of mainstream artists. It has to work with the record labels.
Curious to know, like, what's been the reception? Like, for example, you were saying, you identify some, big artists or like creators who are doing cool things. You approach them with your business model. Does it take like a lot of education for them to understand like the value of NFTs, or do a lot of them like get it right away? Or what's been the reception, as you've approached different people?
Oh, a lot of them don't get it right away.
Trust me, we experience the same thing.
They don't get it right away. You have to explain what blockchain is, and then you have to explain how, because they always ask the same question. If I could take a screenshot of it, then why is it valuable? And I'm like, originality, because you can prove that you take a screenshot doesn't mean you own it. I mean, come on. The same thing with what Gary Vee said. He said you could draw Shrek and take a screenshot of Shrek, but the ownership of that character goes back to Disney, and they're making the money, right? So it's about ownership and being able to provide utility aside from what is known now. Because when you look at it, 5 to 10 years, NFT is going to be, it's you can't mention data or content creation without mentioning NFTs, in 5 to 10 years. So I have to educate them and let them know that, listen, this is an opportunity to get into the future, especially because you're in Africa. Not a lot of artists are not doing this, right? The only artist I've heard who's talking about getting the NFT way is MI, right? One of Africa's top rappers. And we are already in talks, right, to see how we can put his content on QLIP and actually make collectibles of his content, right? So they don't get it straight away. We have to educate and show them the business model and help them understand why it would work, right? Before they say, okay, Karla, yeah, let's give this a try.
So in terms of like the target creators that you want to go after and feature on QLIP, is it the musicians that you want to focus on first and then kind of in tandem pair them up with the visual artists? Or like, for example, my first exposure with a crypto artist from Africa would be Oshinachi. Like he's been in the game for years at this point, and he's such an inspiration. Like how he creates using Microsoft Word, and his story and everything about it is just inspiring. But yeah, I'm just curious about that sort of roadmap and how you're thinking about the music side of things with the visual art side of things heading forward.
Well, we're getting musicians first on it because we actually want to reach the end users, their fans, right? Fans of MI, fans of Burna Boy, fans from all around Africa that they have. We're going to help them say, okay, you could buy my NFTs, own my NFTs on such and such platform, and we're going to have limited editions of the NFTs, and people who own them would have access to, their various content and various off-chain, what's the word? Opportunities or advantages, right, over people who don't own their NFTs. So we're working first with the music artists because we need a lot more traction than we have now. We have traction, but we need a lot more. And music is big in Africa. So if we have the music artists, we can then begin collaborations with others. And besides, it's not only music. We're going to work with movie artists also. The film industry is going to get in on this because they love use cases for them. They love use cases for photographers. Africa has a lot of really good top photographers and lots of other content creators. We're also looking at literary giants, the likes of Wole Soyinka, the likes of Chimamanda. These are people who their books, their literary works have gone around the world. But first, we're starting with the music artists because we need to make an announcement and we need to make it big. That's it.
Yo, I love it. Karla, I'd be interested. So when I first came across you, it was actually around New Year's Eve, a little bit before that, you had put out the Drizzle rap. And I was like, oh my God, if I could convince this lady to rewrite this one. But so you were rapping about a specific block on the blockchain. And I feel we're way ahead of the curve. Even before this space blew up, you obviously had an in-depth knowledge about crypto, about NFTs. So I'm just sort of interested and to try and pull off a project with the scope of what you're talking about. I mean, you really have to know this space inside out, which you clearly do. So I'm just interested to know how you stumbled into crypto in the first place and, byproduct of that, NFTs, what's your background in this space in general?
Okay, all right. So I got into crypto in 2017, but I didn't take it seriously till 2019, right? Yeah. So in 2017, I started with Steemit. I love to write. So I was writing on Steemit, right? I was writing articles and earning various SBD tokens and all that stuff. And then Steemit wasn't doing so well, so I left it alone for a while. Well, I was in various spaces, but I didn't really get what they were talking about, right? When I asked the question, they would always go, DYOR, do your own research. And I didn't do my research rightly because I kept asking what instead of why. I kept asking, what is Bitcoin? Okay. I couldn't understand, this is how you should apply it, right? And I think this goes to newbies. Find out why, rather than just what, because when you find out why, you can relate the what to a purpose, to an action that you should take. So I just went around that till 2019 when I started really doing research and understanding why I should do this. And I started making plans, right? Started making plans and taking up some courses and teaching people also about Bitcoin, about cryptocurrency, why it is important that we all get in on it and start buying, now and holding for long-term purposes, right? But then in 2020, I'm a Christian, right? So I'm born again, and we have the Holy Spirit, right? In 2020 Q4, the Holy Spirit said, research about NFTs. I wasn't looking at NFTs before now. The highest I'd heard about NFTs was what was happening with EOS blockchain, was it CryptoKitties? Oh no, CryptoKitties is on Ethereum. One NFT that choked the blockchain and made them, I think it was EOS blockchain or so, that made transactions stop working. That was the only idea I had about NFTs, right? That was just it. So the Holy Spirit said, Karla, research about NFTs. And I started my research and I saw that it was so much big. I mean, I used like 3 months to research on what NFTs are and how they can be applied in various aspects other than just art, right? That in checking that out, I even got to find out that NFTs could be used in the legal industry, right? And other aspect. But that was how I started. It was just divine direction. I acted on an instruction I got from the Holy Spirit. And once I was done with my research, I'm like, no, I got to build something for Africa. I have to build something that a lot of people are not doing now and something that can benefit a lot of Africans. So here we are.
That's crazy. I mean, Rizzle and we got our start over on Cent, which is like, I don't know, the Ethereum version of Steemit. And I would like to think like a much cooler vein, throwing shade on Steemit since day one. But to your point, the promise of NFTs and what they can be used for is just pretty mind-blowing outside of art, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like there's this huge energy in the creative industry when it comes to like gaming, virtual worlds, music, of course, writing, all the above, right? And how they can take NFTs and apply them and for like really, really insanely creative and inspiring purposes. But there's also like this tension between the demand side and the supply side. And you have all these projects and artists and creators that are coming in and trying to use NFTs and in some senses like flooding the space. So how are you able to kind of keep that tension and balance? And especially when it comes to like an emerging market and bringing Africa online to NFTs, like how do you make sure you don't flood the market too early with awesome content and overwhelm?
Okay. Yeah. Okay. The keyword here is utility. That's the keyword. So if you can figure out how to make these NFTs useful, both on-chain and off-chain, you get the market. Because when you think about it, people don't want to buy something that they would not use often, right? So utility, that's just it. So if I buy this NFT, I know that it can help me get something off the blockchain. It can help me get something in real life, right? That's it. Then the next thing is scarcity. Okay, so we actually on QLIP, our collectibles are going to be really scarce. So if we have artists that we are dropping their collectibles, there's a definite number that we are dropping, of this artist. There's a definite number, there's a definite time frame, to drop them, to have them in circulation, so that the market doesn't just get flooded with a lot of products and nobody's buying. So those are our 2 key ways to keep demand up.
Yo, love it, Karla. Just out of curiosity, have you are you in the works of onboarding anyone currently, or are you essentially taking this around and trying to get a sense of who is most interested in it, or who do you see being I know you're targeting musicians first, but do you have a short list of who's going to be first on the platform, or are there already been a few drops out there, or what's the short-term roadmap look like in terms of who's going to be putting out stuff?
Okay, yes, we do. I have my eye on Tenny, the entertainer. I have my eye on MI because I'm a rapper, so I kind of want lots of rappers to be here too. I have my eye on MI, Black Bones, AQ, right? And Praise also. I had actually had a discussion with one of our agents today on us getting to Praise, right? I have, and then there's an artist. He's a visual artist, a hyper realist artist. His name is Mayo Arts, right? So also have my eye on Mayo Arts, right? So those are the ones that we are currently reaching out to at the moment that I can say, yeah, you're definitely going to find their works first on QLIP.
When you were like setting up this project in the first place, like, do you see this project like having any big competitors out there, or do you on the opposite side of the coin, like, would you say this is modeled after like any specific product or platform that you're just, trying to adapt to your specific use case, or, what do you see out there that's like similar to what you've got going on?
Okay, at the moment, I would say the competitor is music distribution companies at first, right? Because of music, basically distribution companies for creators, right? For people who are mainstream artists, because they could ask, they're telling me to create NFTs, but distribution companies are already paying me upfront to provide my content to them. So why should I provide my content to you, right? So they are one of the competitors. And then for other, our business model, it is not based on anything that is currently available at all. It's not yet based on any. So I can't really see a let's say a platform that's already doing what we are doing, because I did some research, and most of the platforms they focus on visual artists, a little bit of musicians, because a lot of musicians haven't really gotten on this, and poetry, right? But we've created a system and a process to make it better than what's already available, honestly. So for now, I could say the direct competition I see are music distribution companies. That's it.
And then one of the things I'm curious about, obviously utility, I think, is a real interesting angle to approach for NFTs and this sort of content to unlock continued ongoing value. But another like buzzword in the space is community around the individual creators. And I think you can kind of pair the utility with community, like unlocking exclusive chats and things like that. But how do you think about community when it comes to the artists and creators that would be releasing on QLIP? Like, what are some interesting examples of community engagement that you've seen?
Okay, we have a meme contest right now, a meme and sticker contest, and the responses have been quite cool, right? Our community is still new to this idea. They're used to, you just mint and sell your NFT on the platform, right? But now they're hearing utility and they're wondering, how would that work? How, they're asking lots of questions. And now they're hearing that, we're going to have poets have NFTs on the platform. We're going to have movie characters on the platform. The movie industry is actually going to be part of this. They're hearing that fashion is going to be on this also, and they don't get it yet. So for community, we're still educating. We get questions every day. We have over 30,000 people in our Telegram group at the moment. We get questions on a daily basis on, okay, how is this going to work? What's up? What do we do after now? And all that stuff. So at the moment, we're building the community. We are educating them, right? And then another way that they are really helpful is when we actually have collectibles. It is really mostly our community that would be able to own them quicker than others, because they sometimes get the announcement firsthand because they're an announcement channel, and they are on our Twitter. Then another way also that we're going to do this is with email marketing. So we have an email strategy to help people know when there are drops, just like what NBA Top Shots do, right? So when there's a drop that's coming, you get an email, and then you wait in line and all that stuff. So we're going to have that also. But basically, people who are in our community will most likely get first-hand information than people who are not.
That's awesome, Karla. What are there any, do you have any dates or launches upcoming that you can sort of put on the calendar or people should be looking out for, or what's coming up?
Okay, yeah. Our private sale is actually tomorrow, which is the 19th of May, and we'd have our IDO on between 22nd, right, to 25th, or depending on the IDO platform. But basically, by the end of this month, we should be done with all sales, right? So once the tokens are sold, it will take us 6 to 8 weeks to create the beta phase of the project, right? So in 6 to 8 weeks, saying that should be July, first week, second week of July. So that's when we'd have a better launch. And then we're going to launch with collectibles of our various artists on the platform, and also have a minting feature where independent artists can mint their works on our platform. So those are the dates at the moment.
One of the things that we always like to ask people on the podcast, especially who have been in the NFT scene for a little while, like yourself, are there any specific kinds of NFTs or collectibles that you've been collecting on the side, or anything like that, or what's in your crypto wallet these days?
Okay, cool. I have most of my NFTs are basically on BSC, Binance Smart Chain. So there are these guys that I follow and I buy their NFTs, MBM Portraits. Right, they are on, I think, Air NFTs, right? I think when you open your Trust wallet, you find them there, Air NFTs or Air Arts, something Air. So they're these guys that have a collectible of creations, and I usually just collect their artworks, they call MBM Portraits. And then apart from that, I have some I have Drizzle. I have Drizzle. Yes. I have some cake NFTs, right? So I don't think I'll be selling anytime soon. I just like to own them, that's all. So those are the ones I have at the moment.
That's cool. And sort of a related question, are there any other or any artists, as a collector, I always like to scoop up new up and coming artists. That's sort of where I like to focus. Yeah. Do you have any artists or musicians that are putting out NFTs already that we should kind of orient our attention and collecting to?
Yeah, that's the issue. I'm not seeing them yet. Hopefully you would see them on QLIP, because actually I've tried searching and I'm not seeing them yet. I particularly really like Tenny. I like Two-Face, Idibia, but you don't get to see their NFTs anywhere yet. I like Yemi Alade. So I'm looking at these guys and saying definitely we're going to have collectibles of these guys on our platform so the world can buy from, right? So you just mentioned it, which shows you that a lot of other artists, a lot of other NFT collectors are actually mentioning it also and looking, okay, who are the artists in Africa who could buy their works? And it's there's no platform, to service that. And that's why QLIP is here. So we're doing this.
Got it. Well, Karla, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us today about QLIP. Really excited to see the further progress here and what you're creating here for artists and creators to hop on and use in the African market. And just thank you for taking the time and keep on creating.
Yeah, thank you so much too for having me. I'm really grateful. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Karla. It was a blast.
Hey everyone, thanks for listening to this week's show. Before we go, just want to remind you once again about this week's sponsor, Metacast Group. Metacast Group connects companies with creators in the NFT space through a network of NFT and metaverse-focused content creators and influencers. So if you want to hear or see your ad on shows just like the Matthew Rizzle Show, to amplify your reach, connect with your target audience, promote your project, and convert views into action, reach out to us at metacastgroup.com or follow us at Metacast Group on Twitter. Thank you, and see you all the next episode.